welcome you all to Bioschool. This is Dr. Gayatri. In the previous video, we have discussed about erythropoiesis and its regulation. Today, we'll see the structure of erythrocytes, its function, life cycle, as well as the disorder. So guys, please watch the video till the end. Thank you. The magical fluid blood. It is composed of plasma and the formed elements. The formed elements are erythrocytes, leukocytes, and the platelets. In today's session, we'll discuss about the structure, function, and disorder of erythrocytes in details. So let's begin. First, we will look into the structure of erythrocyte. Red blood cells are biconcave in shape. They have no nucleus, and their diameter it is about 7 to 8 micrometer. The characteristic shape, that is the biconcave shape, is suited to their purpose. Like the biconcavity, it increases the surface area for the gases exchange, and the thinness in the center that allow the fast entry and exit of gases. The red blood cells are flexible, and the flexibility is because of the presence of the protein spectrin in the plasma membrane that provide the flexibility to change the shape, and that help in squeeze through the narrow capillaries and no intracellular organelles, and the red blood cells have no intracellular organelle, and that leaves the more room for the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, it is a large pigmented protein which is responsible for the transport of gases. Red blood cells, they lack the ATP. Red blood cells, they lack mitochondria, and they generate ATP anaerobically. So they do not use any of the oxygen they transported. A healthy adult male has 5.4 million of red blood cells per microliter of blood, and the female has about 4.8 million of red blood cells per microliter of blood. This is the structure of the RBC, which is biconcave in shape and thinner at the center. Its diameter is 8 micrometer, and the shape is flexible because of the presence of the protein spectrin in its plasma membrane. You know, the RBC, it contains the oxygen carrying protein, that is the hemoglobin. Okay, hemoglobin is that pigment that gives the whole blood its red color. Okay, and hemoglobin are synthesized before the loss of nucleus during the process of erythropoiesis, and hemoglobin, it constitutes 33% of cell's weight. If you have not watched the video on the erythropoiesis, then you will get the link in the description box, so please do watch. A hemoglobin molecule, it consists of a protein, okay, that is the globin. And the globin protein, it is composed of 4 polypeptide chains, out of which 2 are the alpha chains and 2 are beta chain. A ring-like non-protein pigment, okay, a ring-like non-protein pigment which is called the heme is bound to each of the 4 chains. So hemoglobin, it is composed of a non-protein part, that is the heme, and a proteinous part, that is globin. At the center of each heme ring, okay, here you can see these are the heme ring. How many heme rings are present? There are the 4 heme rings are present. In the center of each heme ring, there is a presence of the iron. Okay, and that iron, it combines with 1 oxygen molecule that allow a hemoglobin molecule to bind with the 4 oxygen molecules. Okay, each iron, it will bind to 1 oxygen. So total hemoglobin, a hemoglobin molecule will bind to the 4 oxygen molecules. Each oxygen molecule picked off from the lungs is bound to an iron ion. As blood flows through the capillaries, the iron oxygen reaction, it reverses, and hemoglobin releases is the oxygen which diffuses into the cell. A heme groove, okay, heme groove that consists of a centered iron ion held in a heterocyclic ring, that is known as the porphyrin. Okay, here you can see it's the structure of the heme groove. In the center, there is a presence of the iron atom. Okay, and the iron, it is held in a heterocyclic ring, that is known as the porphyrin ring, and the porphyrin ring, it is consists of the 4 pyrrole molecules. Okay, here you can see these are the pyrrole molecules. How many pyrrole rings are present? There are the 4 pyrrole molecules are present, and they are linked together by the methyl bridge. 4 pyrrole rings, they are linked together by the methyl bridge with the iron at the center. The iron ion, which is the site of oxygen binding and coordinates with the 4 nitrogen atoms. It is coordinated with the 4 nitrogen atom in the center of the ring, and iron is strongly bound to the protein molecule. That protein molecule is known as the globin. Okay, so this is the structure of the heme molecule. So this is the heme ring. Heme group, it is consists of the 4 pyrrole rings. 4 pyrrole rings are joined together by the methyl bridge, and it has 2 vinyl groups are present, and also it has 2 propionate side chain, and the iron atom, it is attached to the protein which is known as the globin. And now we'll see how the hemoglobin it is synthesized. So first what will happen, the 2-succinyl coenzyme A, it will combine with the 2-glycine to form the pyrrole molecule or the pyrrole ring. In turn, what will happen, the 4 pyrrole rings, they combine to form protoporphyrin IX. The protoporphyrin IX, which combines with the iron to form heme. We have seen it before. Then the heme, it will finally, its heme molecule combine with a long polypeptide chain. Heme combine with the long polypeptide chain to forms the hemoglobin. Okay, the hemoglobin or the polypeptide chain, it is composed of the 2 alpha chain and the 2 beta chain in hemoglobin type A. So how the hemoglobin is synthesized? First, the 2-succinyl coenzyme A, it combines with the 2-glycine to form the pyrrole ring. Then in turn, the 4 pyrroles, they combine to form the protoporphyrin X. The protoporphyrin X, then it will combine with the iron to forms the heme molecule. Then finally, heme molecule, it will combine with the long polypeptide chain, that is the globin, which is synthesized by the ribosome, forming a subunit of hemoglobin. Okay. Now we will see what are the functions of erythrocytes. Hemoglobin transports about 23% of the total carbon dioxide, that is the waste product of metabolism. In addition to that, hemoglobin also play a role in the regulation of blood flow and the blood pressure. You know, the gaseous hormone, which is known as the nitric oxide, which is produced by the endothelial cell lines of the blood cell, it binds to hemoglobin. So the released nitric oxide, it causes the vasodilation. Okay, it's called the dilation of the blood vessel, and that increase the blood vessel diameter that occurs when the smooth muscle in the vessel wall relaxes. So the nitric oxide, it helps in the vasodilation. Vasodilation, it improves the blood flow and enhances the oxygen delivery to the cells that are near the site of nitric oxide release. Red blood cell, it contains an enzyme. That enzyme is known as the carbonic anhydrase, which catalyzes the conversion of carbon dioxide and water to form the carbonic acid, which in turn dissociated into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So erythrocyte, it allows about 70% of carbon dioxide to be transported in blood plasma from tissue cell to the lung in the form of bicarbonate ion. 70% of carbon dioxide, it is transported in the form of bicarbonate ion. It also serves as an important buffer in the extracellular fluids. So these are some important functions of erythrocytes. Now we will see the RBC life cycle. The red blood cells which are ruptured, which are worn out, that are phagocytized in the macrophage, in the spleen, liver and red bone marrow. Then the red blood cell, it divided into, or it splits apart into heme and the globin. The globin, which is further broken down into amino acids, which are used for protein synthesis, and the heme molecule, then from the heme molecule, iron molecule, it will be separated, and in the bloodstream it combines with a plasma protein that is known as the transferrin. So the iron in combination with the transferrin, it transported into liver cell. In the liver cell, what happens? The iron atom, it binds with a iron storage protein that is known as the ferritin. Okay. So when this iron out of the storage site, then it combines with the transferrin, the plasma protein. So iron in combination with the plasma protein transferrin, it is transported to the red bone marrow. In the red bone marrow, there is the presence of the erythrocyte precursor cells, which receive the iron and transferrin combination by receptor mediated endocytosis, and that forms the red blood cell. Mature red blood cells are formed, and then the mature red blood cell, it releases into the circulation, blood circulation, where it lives about 120 days. After the 120 days, when the red blood cell is ruptured or is worn out, again it is phagocytized by the macrophages in the spleen, liver and the red bone marrow cell. Okay. Then in the next step, what happens? So the heme molecule, after the release of the iron, the remnant portion of the heme, that forms a green pigment. That green pigment is known as the biliverdin, and then this biliverdin, it converted into a yellowish orange pigment. That pigment is known as the bilirubin. Bilirubin, it is a yellowish orange pigment, then transported into the bloodstream. Then from the bloodstream, it transported into the liver cell, and then from the liver cell, it is transported into the small intestine, then to the large intestine. Okay, so in the large intestine, in presence of the bacteria, bilirubin, it is converted into urobilinogen. The urobilinogen then transported into the bloodstream in the form of the urobilin. It is a yellowish color pigment. Urobilinogen that is converted into the stercobilin, which is released in the feces. So this is how the red blood cell life cycle takes place. So now we'll see the disorders of erythrocytes. Disease in the bone marrow can produce the abnormal red blood cells. This cell, it may be the irregular in size, that is its size, it may be the too large, or it may be the too small, or it may be the change in the shape of the RBC. Okay. So the most of the erythrocyte disorders are classified into two types. One is known as the anemia, and another one is known as the polycythemia. Anemia, it is a condition which is characterized by the lack of production of new and healthy red blood cells, and polycythemia means, poly means the many, that is the production of a large number of the red blood cells. So first we will look into the anemia. So anemia, it may be caused by blood loss, not enough production of the RBC, or too many RBC destruction. So first we will see the blood loss. Blood loss, it causes the two type of anemia. One is known as the hemorrhagic anemia. Hemorrhagic anemia is a condition, there is a rapid loss of the blood that may be caused because of some wound, okay, or by the accident. And the chronic hemorrhagic anemia, it means the slow but the persistent loss of blood. Example, the bleeding of ulcers. Okay. The next condition of anemia is the not enough production of RBC. One of the condition is known as the pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia, it is an autoimmune disorder that destroys the parietal cells of stomach that produce the intrinsic factor, that is the IF. And that intrinsic factor or IF, that is needed for absorption of vitamin B12, and the vitamin B12, it helps in the division of red blood cell. Without vitamin B12, what will happen? The RBC, it enlarges and it produces the macrocytic anemia. And another condition is that iron deficiency anemia. Iron deficiency anemia, it is caused sudden loss of the blood because of the menstruation and insufficient intake of the iron or absorption of iron from the food. A lack of iron in the body leads to the insufficient RBC production, okay, and that causes the microcytic anemia. Microcytic anemia means there is a production of the small size of red blood cells. And another one is, the third one is the aplastic anemia. It is a rare condition in which insufficient new blood cells are produced by the bone marrow due to the damage to the stem cells. Development of this condition is associated with a number of the different factors, including the pregnancy, exposure to the toxic chemicals, and the side effect of some medications and certain viral infections such as HIV, hepatitis or Epstein-Barr virus. Also, the too many RBC destruction that leads to the anemia condition. That is premature lysis of RBC, which is called the hemolytic anemia, which is caused by the hemoglobin abnormalities. So now we see the sickle cell anemia. This is an inherited disorder caused by the mutation in the hemoglobin gene that cause the red blood cell to take on a sickle cell. Here the red blood cell, it changes the shape and it becomes a sickle cell, okay, like the moon shaped, half moon shaped. So the most common cause of sickle cell anemia is a single amino acid mutation in the beta chain, where the mutation takes place in the beta chain of hemoglobin, where the amino acid glutamic acid, here you can see is the normal hemoglobin beta chain, okay, here it is the presence of the amino acid glutamic acid, okay, at which position? At the 6th position, 1 2 3 4 5 and the 6th position. But in the sickle cell anemia, what happens, this glutamic acid which is present in the beta chain at the 6th position, that is converted into another amino acid that is called the valine. Okay, because of this mutation, what happens, the RBC changes its shape into the sickle cell, and that is called as the sickle cell anemia. And then another one is known as the thalassemia. Thalassemia, it is also the inherited blood disorder in which the body makes an abnormal form of hemoglobin. There are the two types of thalassemia. One is known as the alpha thalassemia. It occurs when the gene or the gene related to alpha globin protein are missing or it is changed. Okay. Similarly, the beta thalassemia occurs when the genes related to the beta globulin chains are mutated or because of any defects. Now comes to the polycythemia. Polycythemia, it is a rare blood disorder in which body makes too many red blood cells. Poly means the many, so it makes many red blood cells. So what happens when there is a production of the many red blood cells? When there is a production of the many red blood cells, then the blood becomes the thicker than is the normal. As a result, what happens? The blood it clots. The clot can block the flow of the blood in arteries and vein, which cause the heart attack and the stroke. So the polycythemia, it is also the life-threatening. I believe that now you all have a clear concept about the structure of erythrocytes, its function, its life cycle, and the disorder related to erythrocyte. So if you like this video, then please do share and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.